Hey, Herb Wise Women. We're in the kitchen now, and we brought in the beautiful basket of lavender that we harvested off of the English lavender out in the garden here at Ravencroft. So now, what do we do with it? It's harvested, it's in the kitchen. The first thing I do is I bunch it and dry it, because I know I'm not going to use all of the lavender that I've harvested in making or preparing something, but I would like to have it left for to have dried in the kitchen as a culinary addition to my cooking. So the easiest way I know to hang any kind of herb that you're bunching is to wrap it with a rubber band, and then take a paper clip, a simple paper clip, come on up here and see this paper clip, and hook it in to the rubber band. And then you hang it up on any kind of a string or a rack. I have a hook here in the kitchen. I'm just gonna hang it right up here for today. And it's really fun to have herbs hanging above you while you're doing your dishes. It makes the kitchen jobs a lot more pleasant. So essentially, another way, that was one simple way. The other simple way that we do it, I like the rubber band because it shrinks down to the size of the bundle as it dries. It continues to get smaller. But another way that'll work is a small piece of string that's looped. So you have a tied loop of string, and then you just put that through itself so that you can actually put it around your herb bundle. Although I like to trim the bottom here. I don't know why, but I just trim up the bottom. And then put the loop of string on the bundle. Like that. Again, using the paper clip method, we just hang this bundle up just the same way as we did the other one. Can you, I would reach up there and, no, can't do it. Ha, too short. That was a lucky
Maybe
one.
later.
Yeah, right? I don't think I'll grow, but yeah, later. So that's the way that they're hung and dried for use in the kitchen. So then we have, this is a jar. I know I won't use any more than this jar in a year. So this has become our standard for the household, that we have this much lavender. We're good for the year. So we know when we can switch from kitchen use to bathing or other things we can do with the lavender. So here's what it looks like dried. And this is about a year old. And so now we'll have fresh ready to go into that jar. So I came in and stripped off some of the lavender. So we have this just really beautiful lavender ready to work with. And the one preparation I'm going to make right now, I mean, you get the idea, just pulling off the florets from the blossom inflorescence. And the leaves are just as aromatic almost as the flowers. And today I'm going to make lavender honey. We get honey about a mile away. There's a beekeeper. And so I went over to Tom's and got some honey this morning. And I'm going to put about a quarter of a jar, so about 2 ounces of the lavender into this jar. Just gently push it down. And we're not filling the jar this time because the lavender is rich in volatile oils, and I want the taste of lavender in the honey, but I'm not trying to get more taste than is pleasurable. So then the honey is simply poured onto the lavender. And I'm going to leave the lavender in the honey. We're not straining this. So just pouring honey over the lavender. And then there's the amazing, how do you stop it? Oh yeah, that's so good. This is a very light, very fresh blackberry honey. A lot of recipes will tell you to heat the honey. And if the honey is too hard or stiff, you'll have to do that. But this honey is so fresh that I won't need to do that. There's enough moisture in it that we can just pour it straight on. So here I'm going to stir it up a bit, get that lavender mixed through it, get the honey down to the bottom of the jar. And the lavender's going to want to float, which is okay. Remember, the honey is an amazing extracting menstruum. It'll pull the volatile oils and all the water-soluble properties out of the lavender flowers and right into the honey. All right, so it's actually just not quite full. I'm going to top that off probably tomorrow morning after the lavender is saturated. So then the next step is just to, for the next week or so, I'll just come out and turn the honey in the jar upside down, right side up, a couple times a day. It'll be on the kitchen counter, so it'll be an easy part of my day. I'll just see it there, turn it over, and then eventually it all settles and I just let it sit. Now, how long is that honey good for? Well, I tell you what, it's good for almost ever. And one way I know that is this here is the mark of honey that lavender honey we made in 2005. So that's, 16 years ago. And it's still perfectly okay. It's totally preserved. So what do we do with this? This mark, it could go into a steam for a facial. The honey's hydrating, and so it'll help to moisten the face. It could go into cookies. We would oftentimes just put the mark from when we strain the honey out and put the mark from the lavender flowers into cookies when we made cookies, and so we would have a lavender taste in the cookie. But really, it was about how long will this stay good for? The honey's a great preservative. It will definitely keep the lavender flowers good for as long as they're together. What will happen possibly is that the honey will solidify, and so that's still fine. You can heat it up if you want to, or you can just spoon it out in the solid form and still use it in tea. And so how can you use it? You can use lavender honey and milk. Lavender honey milk is a really nice thing before you go to sleep at night. Just before you go to bed, you could have a warm milk with lavender honey. You can put lavender honey when you're making any kind of a pudding or custard. Again, heat it up in the milk to get the flavor infused into the milk, and then you can leave the buds in, strain them out however you like. So anywhere you think that lavender lemonade is a great place, but anywhere you think you can use this lavender honey, give it a try. Give it a try. So what I'm going to do here is just use this basket to dry all the bits and pieces, because this is also incredibly aromatic, and these bits and pieces will become herb baths. You can bundle the stems up, and those are really fun. If lavender, not so much, but you could. On a barbecue, you could take those bundles and put them on the barbecue coals and smoke whatever you're cooking. You can put them in a fire, a ceremonial fire, a ritual fire, and add a smoke element to whatever it is that you're working with in your ritual. So there's just a lot of different ways to bring lavender into your everyday life. And we're really glad you're here. We want to hear how you're doing it. What are you doing in your kitchen with lavender this month? The lavender's on wherever you're at, and we want to hear from you. So put it in in the comments below, send some photographs, tell us a recipe, anything you like. But let's get this, this thing going with everybody's input so we can learn from each other. All right, EagleSong Gardener signing off from the kitchen at Ravencroft Garden.